We're just waiting for one more panel member to arrive, and then we can begin. Can the coordinator please check to see that Mr. Otto is available?
Yes, Mr.
Thank
Chair,
you.
talk to now.
Thank you. Give it another minute and then we'll go ahead without member Otto when he can join us once he arrives. There he is. Okay, good morning and welcome to this online hearing of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Ottawa under the Planning Act. This video conference is also live streaming on YouTube. With me are my fellow panel members, Jocelyn Chandler, Stephen Lewis, Terrence Otto, and Martin Vervoort. My name is Fabian Poulin and I will be chairing this hearing today. Procedure for this hearing will be as follows. Listed on the agenda and appearing on the screen are the applications we will hear today. For the sake of efficiency, the committee may deal with agenda items in a different order. Committee members have reviewed the planning reports and any written submissions in support or in opposition to each of the applications. Today, we'll hear oral submissions from any interested parties. Notice regarding minor variance application, notwithstanding pre-consultation with city staff, it is the responsibility of the applicant to, one, identify all required variances accurately on the application to add a new variance or increase the extent of a variance requested. It must be given in accordance with the Planning Act and may require the application to be recirculated for the next hearing date at a cost to the applicant at the prescribed fee. If an applicant amends their plans with no impact to the variances or to reduce the variances requested, recirculation may not be required. As part of the statutory notification requirements, each applicant was required to post a sign on the property and file a statutory declaration confirming the sign posting. This declaration must be on file today before we can hear the application. Without it, we may have to adjourn the application or administer an oath if necessary. Can the coordinator confirm that we have received all statutory declarations?
No, we have not received all the statutory declarations.
I will then administer the oath to each applicant. The committee may ask for a brief presentation of the application, followed by questions from members and submissions from the public. Please address your comments to the chair, starting with your name and spelling it if necessary, and your municipal address for the record. The committee limits presentations to 5 minutes. Any exceptions will be at the discretion of the chair. And before we begin, we have 2 items of business to address. Does any member present need to declare an interest in any of the applications that are before us today or that are on the agenda of another committee panel? Yes, Ms. Chandler?
I would like to declare an interest on a panel 2 application, that's severance B-00183 and 00216 at 257 Lisker.
Thank you. We don't have any minutes to adopt today, so we will now hear the application scheduled for this hearing, and we'll deal firstly with any items that may be adjourned. I believe we have several items to be adjourned. The first of which I believe is number 3. Number 3 has to do with 5758 First Line Road. Ms. Zander, are you available?
Hi, through you, Mr. Chair. This is Chris Clark with Zander Plan. Ms. Zander is at home sick today.
Okay. I would like to administer, oh, no, do you have an interest in adjourning your application today, sir?
Yeah, we requested an adjournment. Staff objected and requested a bit more information. So we'd like a 2-week adjournment just to address some of the concerns and make sure there's no issues before we move forward.
So you're looking forward to adjourn this application to October 5, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I'd like to ask Mr. Kukkonen, do you have any objections with the date of October 5 to adjourn this application?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. We are agreeable to that adjournment request at this time, yes.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask the panel to adjourn this application until October the 5th. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is adjourned, Mr. Clark. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next application to be of an adjournment request is having to do with item number 6, having to do with 2160 Phelan Road. And Mr. Shipman, are you available? You're muted, Mr. Shipman. There you go. Good morning.
Mr. Chair. Yes, we've consulted with planning and we're agreeable to the adjournment. Give us time to finalize our EIS. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
That's it.
You're in agreement to the adjournment to sine die?
No, could we please set it for either late November or early December? Other than the EIS, there does not appear to be any significant issues to deal with here. I think we'll be ready to go.
Okay. Mr. Harrigan, do you think there's enough time to evaluate the EIS?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair,
Mhm.
the planning department had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Shipman, and he is aware that we will need to report about 3 weeks before a new hearing date, and he's pretty confident that we can get that by in advance for the either late November or early December hearing. So we are agreeable to either of those dates.
Okay. Madam Coordinator, do we have room on the last meeting of November? Which would be the 16th, I guess.
Yes, Mr. Chair, that shouldn't be a problem.
Great.
Perhaps,
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Perhaps, Mr. Chair, we could move it to the early December meeting, just in an abundance of caution, that we'll have this stuff together.
Sure, that's great. So that means that it'd be December the 7th would be the date. I'd like to ask panel for approval of this to adjourn this application to December the 7th. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Applications adjourned to December 7th. Thank you very much, Mr. Shipman.
Thank you.
Now, the next applications to be that have a request for adjournment is having to do with applications number 7 and 8. 266C3 Rustland. Mr. Laundrie, are you available? You're muted, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir. There's a request for adjournment of your application. Are you in agreement with that adjournment, sir? Request?
Yes,
Okay. And are you in agreement with the request to be sine die?
yes, we are.
Okay, perfect. I would like to ask the panel for approval of this application to be adjourned until, well, for sine die. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is adjourned sine die, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and the last application request for adjournment is having to do with item number 7, having to do with 6729 Parkway. Ms. Spirak, or sorry, Stephen Shepherd, are you available?
I think just for the record, Mr. Chair, it's agenda item number 9.
No, I'm sorry. Did I not say 9? I'm sorry. Number 9, having to do with 6729 Parkway Avenue.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair. Stephen Shepherd, counsel for Ms. Spirak, the applicant.
Good morning. Are you in agreement with this adjournment request?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we've consulted with City, Mr. Harrigan, and we have settled on a date of November 2nd for an adjournment, if that date is available.
I believe it is, sir. So I would like to ask the panel to adjourn this application to November the 2nd. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. You'd now like to proceed with your adjournments request has been granted, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, moving on to application number 1. Application number 1 has to do with 7241 Franktown Road. Mr. Shipman, are you available? Good morning.
Morning.
I would like to administer an oath concerning the sign posting, sir. Can you take that oath this morning?
I can.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time. Do you swear?
I do.
Thank you very much. I note the committee notes that planning does not have any concerns. They do have 6 conditions. Do you agree with those conditions, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, they're fine. That's fine. I would note condition number 6, both A and B should probably refer to the retained parcel in this instance, since the severed parcel is already developed. I think those the development envelope and the other condition should be there.
Okay, I'd like to ask Mr. Kukon if you've got any comments with respect to item number 6, condition number 6.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, I am in agreement that both items A and B should refer to the retained lands in this instance.
Okay. I'd like to ask the panel if they have any comments or questions. Ms. Chandler?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Lewis? Okay. Mr. Otto? Okay. Mr. Vervoort?
No comments or concerns. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to ask the panel for approval of this application with the changes to item 6A and B to refer only to the retained lands. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved, Mr. Shipman. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now moving on to item number 2. This is having to do with 2165 Manotick Station Road. And Ms. Potts, are you available?
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the panel.
Good morning, Ms. Potts. Can you take the oath concerning the sign posting on the property?
I can.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
Yes.
Okay, so I note that there are no concerns from planning. There are 7 conditions that they're requesting. Are you in agreement with those 7 conditions, ma'am?
Yes, we are.
And I note that the Conservation Authority also has 2 conditions. Are you aware of those conditions and do you agree with them?
Yes, we're aware and we agree with the conditions.
Great, thank you very much. I'd now like to ask the panel for approval of this application. All those in favor, please raise your hands. You asking a question, Ms. Chandler?
I did have a question for South Nation, but I think the vote has passed.
Okay. Maybe to make it easier, if you could just raise your hand via the electronic hand, it'll make it a little easier for me to understand you need a
I
comment.
can do that.
Thank you. Okay, so I'd like to tell you that your application has been approved. Thank you very much, Ms. Potts.
Thank you. Have a nice morning.
You too.
Just for the record, Mr. Chair, how should the vote for Jocelyn be recorded then?
Ms. Chandler, how will you record your vote?
I think I will abstain from voting.
I think you've got only, yeah, okay. So Ms. Chandler will be recorded as abstaining.
Mr. Chair, I thought Mr. Holland had raised his hand too. Conservation.
I didn't see that. Sorry, Mr. Holland, do you have any comments?
No, I was just making myself available if there was a question, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so your application is approved. Thank you very much, Ms. Potts. Now we move on to applications 4 and 5. These applications concern 4740 High Road. Ms. Malins, are you available? I see a David Renfro. Mr. Renfro?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm still waiting to get let into the panel. I'm just waiting for the prompt to come up.
Well, I can see you. I can hear you. Are you representing Ms. Valens?
Mr. Chair, Jamie Posen here from FO10. It's a joint presentation with Ms. Malens, David Renfro, and myself.
Okay. Who's taking the lead?
Ms. Malens was intended to take the lead. I don't see her on the call yet.
Nor do I. Ms. Malens, are you available?
I don't see Miss Malens on the call, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you proceed without Ms. Malens, Mr. Posen?
Sure, happy to, Mr. Chair. We did have a presentation. Was that submitted to the committee coordinator?
Madam Coordinator?
Yep, we'll bring it up now.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I just spoke to Ms. Malins and she's coming in right now. I apologize for the delay.
No worries. Still don't see her.
Mr. Chair, for the value of time, perhaps I could suggest we could move down the agenda for several positions to, in the event that Ms. Mullins is having technical difficulties. Would the chair consider that, please?
We would consider it. However, you're the last application to be heard today.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, if I may, we've got the presentation here. There seems to be no concerns from either parties. It's just, are you gentlemen able to address the conditions?
Yes, we are.
So as Mr. Lewis suggested, there's no concerns on behalf of the Planning Department or Conservation Authority, but there are 5 conditions. Are you familiar with them and do you agree with them?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we are familiar with the conditions. We did have some minor questions of city staff, which we have not received a response to yet. And we're just looking for clarification on the cash in lieu requirement. We were looking for confirmation that it would be over the lands being designated as rural lands.
Okay, but before I begin, is Ms. Mullins the one to take the oath concerning the sign posting on the
No,
property?
that was myself.
Okay. So I'd like to do that now before we begin.
Thank you.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
Yes, I do.
Great. So as noted, there's you've got some comments with respect to the cash in lieu. So if you want to go ahead and proceed and discuss that, that'd be great.
You want to lead that?
Just ask, Mr. Chairman, it's Ted Faubert speaking, F-O-B-E-R-T. I'm one of the owners of the property. And the question we have really is that we understand the need for the cash in lieu for the parkland dedication. We just want clarification that it relates to rural land in this case. These lands are part of lands that were brought into the urban boundary by City Council. The severance creates the opportunity for us to consolidate the residential portion of the land to allow for the secondary planning and eventual subdivision of those lands. That will result in a major consideration for parkland, et cetera, which is the normal process. So we just wanted to confirm, we believe from reading the information that it relates, it is considered a rural severance at this point, because otherwise, if it's considered urban, the impact of cash in lieu on a large parcel like this financially is very impacting. Particularly since it's probably a 3 to 5 year horizon before these lands are going to be developed. It takes at least 2 years to do a secondary plan, another year or 2 to do the subdivision. And in the interim, the lands remain as golf course. There's an existing lease, an annual lease that's renewable that will allow for the golf course to continue till such time as all of the planning approvals are in place. So we're satisfied with the condition and the requirement for cash in lieu. We just wanted to confirm that it would relate in this case to rural land, which it is now because it hasn't been officially brought into the urban boundary. It's awaiting provincial approval of the official plan.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Mr. Harrigan for comments with respect to that condition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I do just need to get clarification on that from senior management, just in regards to whether this would be deemed rural lands or urban lands at this point for the determining cash in lieu. I believe it is based on the day that the decision letter is issued. So if it is deemed rural lands, then it would be rural lands. However, there was a note that was sent by Ursula Mullins earlier this morning, which I haven't had a chance to reply to, suggesting a modification to the condition wording, just noting that if payment is deemed necessary by the development review manager, then it will be paid. I just noticed there was no comment on that at this point as well too. I was wondering if the applicants were still looking to push forward with that slight modification to the wording, or if there was just wanted to go with the wording as proceeding. And yes, it is confirmation it is rural lands. They would apply to rural lands.
Mr. Chairman, if it does apply to rural lands, then there's no need for the change to the condition. We're satisfied that if it is rural lands, obviously the cash in lieu would be a different situation than if it's considered urban lands. So if it is rural lands, we accept the condition as noted. And if there's any concern related to that understanding, obviously we would consider a change. But given that we've been confirmed that it is rural, we would accept the condition as set out.
Great, thank you very much. So to that end, I'd like to ask the panel for approval of this application with all 5 conditions unchanged. And panel, are you in favor of this application? Please raise your hands.
Just wondering, was that the only condition you guys had a question with? Or is there another one?
Through the chair, that was the only question we had of City of Ottawa staff.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Chair, if I may, there was, I do have the document that Ms. Malen sent to staff, I guess early this morning. There was also some very minor adjustments to draft condition 1, just the wording to specify the part and the plan.
Okay. Just that one condition, the first condition?
Yeah, number 1, which pertains to the minor variance, and then draft condition 4, which pertains to the parkland that we just talked about.
Okay. Do you have the wording so that we can discuss it on number 1?
I do. It's just a minor adjustment to say the minor variance approval for part 1 on plan 4R, and then the number of the R plan is tied to,
okay,
etc. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, so.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, my apologies to everybody. There was a major miscommunication. Anyways, what that revision to condition 1 for the minor variances is, it's just trying the plan to the severed lands, and that's consistent with the staff report. And I can show you that wording if that would be of assistance.
I think it's fine, Ms. Mullins. Thank you. Okay, so now going back to the panel. Does the panel have any comments, questions, or concerns? Ms. Chandler?
No, I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lewis?
None.
Mr. Vervoort?
None. I'm assuming I'm fine with the proposed changes to the conditions for both the minor variance application and condition 4 for the consent application as proposed with Ms. Mullins. And I don't believe Mr. Harrigan has any concerns with those either. So I'm in favor of both applications. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Otto?
No comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd now like to ask the panel for approval of this application with those modifications to the conditions. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Both applications are approved. Thank you very much, Ms. Mullins, Mr. Renfro, Mr. Forbert. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
That concludes the hearing for today. Thank you all very much for your help, and look forward to seeing you next week or 2 weeks from now. Thank you.